In a world inundated with technology, the internet acts as a portal to that technology. Databases, print, slide presentations, audio files, and full blown videos. The internet is our personal interface with the outside world. Findings show that now nearly 80% of Americans use the internet on a regular basis, and that's more than they did 10 years ago. How has the internet impacted us as a society?
I would say the internet has impacted society in a great way, in a great many ways. One of the major ways it's impacted society is being able to get information right away and very easily. Where before we used to have to go to the library to do research, we're now able to use online journals, online resources. But it's also impacted us through a lot through communication and social interaction. So instead of having to send a letter or even just picking up the phone to make a phone call, we're now able to text, send email. So it really reduces interpersonal, interaction, where a lot of times now we interact without actually seeing the person.
The internet has impacted my life in many ways. My first interaction with the internet really was probably chat rooms when I was like 9, 10, 11 years old. And from there, I've kind of grown up with the internet, so it's always been a part of my life. Through middle school, with MySpace, and through high school with Facebook and everything like that. It's always been like a part of my life, even now. So today, online shopping and all those things. I've done through the internet research. Um, so the internet, it's had a huge impact on my life. Helped me through college, helped me study, everything like that.
The internet has impacted my life tremendously, simply because I'm a mass comm major, and I feel as though everything for mass comm is surrounded around the internet. And we're in the age of the millennials, and like everything is surrounded around social media and the internet, and that's how everyone gets their information, gets their news, things of that nature. So that's how the internet has impacted my life.
The internet has impacted my life personally by me being a teacher, and I can look at other teachers and how they teach and how well they teach. And I can learn different ways to teach children, and it helps me be a better person. Also, I learn about what's going on in the fields, what's going on in sports, news, entertainment. I'm always up to date on what's going on.
Well, for me, I think the internet is almost all pro as a channel of communication. And the reason I say that is because it just gives us all access as a society and as a world to interaction that we just didn't have without the internet. We can contact people anywhere in the world on an immediate basis now, where in the old days, we would have to send them a letter, which would take, days just to reach them if they were in another country. So for me, I think our social interaction, I think our, if you look at it from a sense of pros or cons, I don't think there's very many cons. I think it's almost all pro as far as, all pros as far as what the internet has done for us as an individual or as a society.
It's really useful because I got like bunch of information from internet. When I need some specific information, I get that information from internet, not from like any source, any other source.
For school purposes, of course, it's a lot of outlets and resources that you can refer to when doing homework, and I would say like social networks and social media has impacted a lot, and not only in my life, but a lot of lives on campus, off campus, in real world, and everywhere pretty much. Social media has impacted a lot of lives in negative ways and positive ways. You have positive publicity, and you also have negative publicity. Of course, you always want to stick with the positive publicity, though.
So from the point of view of cons, if you think about it, and recent events kind of support that, is people tend to use things like the internet or other new technologies either for the good or for bad, right? So for good or for evil. So from the point of view of what the internet has done, it has allowed, for example, for groups to be able to outwardly speak to a lot of people, get in contact with a lot of people, and then shape these people's ideas about things like hatred or any kind of other activities that might not be to the better of people, right? To the betterment of mankind and humankind. So, from that point of view, what the internet has done is it allowed people to at least communicate bad ideas, hatred, bullying, right? All the things that you've heard recently, bad things about on the internet, right? I would also like to say, from the cons point of view, is that right now the internet is being misused tremendously. Whether we're talking about exploitation of children, exploitation of religion, exploitation of hatred, exploitation of violence, right? So all these things are there on the internet at a global scale.
Like, when you're not on the internet, you could do so much more things, like reading books, reading Forbes, reading magazines, the newspaper, what's going on in the world, stuff like that. Like, I think that is more enhancing. You could do more in your 24 hours of the day instead of just going on social media and just strolling, because you could stroll and you could start strolling and 2 or 3 hours then pass. But if you're sitting there and you're actually, like, I think for students, the internet is kind of like a disadvantage, because sometimes that's why they created books that we're supposed to be studying and reading, but a lot of times we won't even touch them or crack them open because we think that it's useful because of the internet and stuff of that nature.